We are so excited to share these prosperity podcasts with you each month. Each podcast will feature a brief prosperity message from someone that you may very well know yourself, from many of the luminaries in our unity movement. Each message will be focused on a brief, simple thing that you can put into action in your life to increase your awareness of the abundance of God that is flowing to you in every moment. It's now my pleasure to introduce longtime member and author of several books for entrepreneurs, Lee Harris.
I've been involved in Unity for 40 years, actually a little longer than that, since 1970. And I've come to learn that prosperity, which I define as abundance of all the good things in our lives, and that's health, that's financial, it's spiritual, it's relationships, it's not just about money. I've come to learn that the most important thing for me has been the positive mindset around that. Prosperity is a mindset. It's not something that comes externally. It comes from within. It comes from our mind and our heart. And I believe that abundance, prosperity, it flows to, through, and from us, certainly. But the real key there is that positive gateway. When we have the positive mindset, the gates open, and that flow happens. If we have negativity in our life of any sort, that is a blockage. So the thing I've probably learned the most about prosperity and abundance over the last 40 some odd years is how to maintain a positive mindset generally. And one of the things that I've found that's very simple that everybody can do are the positive affirmations. And particularly if we're in a place where there's some uncertainty about our finances, about our health, a relationship, whatever, we need to double down on our effort to stay positive about that. And so positive affirmation, for example, I am alive, my life is filled with abundance, or I'm alive with abundance. Something very simple, yet very powerful. And then you got to practice it. And what I find that works for me is every single day, 100 times, to say that affirmation, that positive affirmation that helps open that pathway, that positive pathway to let that abundance flow through. So I break it down into 10 times. I will say it. I'll say it in the car 10 times, or I'll say it in the shower 10 times, or I'll say it in my office 10 times, and I'll say it different ways, and I'll say it with gusto, and it may sound a little weird at first, but you really start to believe that, and you feel the endorphin rush when that happens. And as a result, that positive mindset then opens that pathway to the abundance and the prosperity to flow to, through, and from our lives. So that is the practice and the belief that I subscribe to, number one. Number two is all about tithing. And I can tell you that tithing is a powerful practice. It makes our lives better. And I have experienced it over and over and over. The one thing we guard against, I've had to really work on this, and that is not to have an attitude of quid pro quo giving. So what do I mean by that? Well, if you give to that which feeds your soul, which in my case is the Unity Church of Overland Park, and you give without condition, but you do know that good will come back to you, again, because you've opened those positive pathways for the abundance to flow to, through, and from, then it's not a quid pro. Quid pro means that I'm going to give, but I'm going to expect something specific in return. And that's not the attitude that I've chosen to take where tithing is concerned. So as a result, I've found that giving 10% or more has been powerful in my life. I had a real estate deal a few years ago. This was the best illustration. I had a real estate transaction that just all of a sudden came together. An apartment complex was sold out of the blue. There was a fee. I wasn't expecting it, But I knew that that had happened. Why? Because the positive pathways were open. I had the right mindset, and I had been tithing. I had been giving to that which feeds my soul, and it all works together.